Hi friends, I'm Neha Verma and welcome back to my channel English NTA Net JRF. So I know there's a huge gap between the previous video and the last and this video. So yes, due to my schedule and due to my PhD thesis work, so I just couldn't have much time to make the videos. But in this video, we'll be covering the Canterbury Tales, starting 5 stories, right? And we'll begin with Knight's Tale. So there are all total 23 tales in the story, and we'll be covering 5 in each session. So there will be 5 sessions for all the 5 stories. And before going further, just like, share, and subscribe the channel if you really like the content in my channel and whatever I teach to you. If you really think that this is very very efficient for your preparation for NET or SET or any other exam related to English literature, right? So in Canterbury Tales, I have made a chart here so that you can know the visibles, the chart or the highlights things. So do make a thing here, take a pen and a paper with you and start drawing something, drawing according to these visuals, because they will be very very beneficial for your net point of view. Because more and more, if you keep on drawing the things and if you keep on drawing a chart or a symbol or anything related to drawing, that will make you realize, that will make you learn more and more number of knowledge, and you can be able to stuff maximum details related to your net exam, right? So Canterbury Tales, it has 29 pilgrims. Apart from Chaucer, it has 29 pilgrims. If we include Chaucer, that means there are 30 pilgrims. But in some books, you will be told that there are 2 more pilgrims which are not included into the journey. Who were they? They have joined the pilgrimage. They have joined the journey later, right? And they are the canon and the yeoman. Canon and Yeoman, they were the latter characters who joined the story, who joined the journey of the Canterbury, right? So it is about a pilgrim's journey to the shrine of Thomas Beckett. I have made a little shrine over here. So Thomas Beckett's shrine, they all are going to Thomas Beckett's shrine in the month of April, right? So, and they have a host called Harry Belly. Harry Belly is their host, and he says that every person has to tell 2 tales, like 2 in the beginning of the journey and 2 in the returning of the journey. But Chaucer, due to this incomplete Canterbury Tales, incomplete Canterbury poem, Chaucer was could only be able to write 23 tales here. So how many numbers of pilgrims here? 29 pilgrims here. If you include Chaucer, that means 30. If you include canon and yeoman, that means 31, 32, 2 more, right? So just keep in mind 29 pilgrims. These are the major, because in option they keep on changing, like 29, 28, 30, 31, 32. So the right option, apart from Chaucer, yeoman and the other person called canon, they are 29, right? So they all are going towards the Thomas Beckett shrine, and Harry Belly is their host. Remember this name, this is very very important for your exam. And after that, Cooks and Square, these are the incomplete tale here. So you will be asked in net question or in sets question, like who were the person who has incomplete story, who has incomplete tales in the Canterbury Tales. So the answer is Cooks and Square's tale. Who is a Square? Square is a son of Knight in this poem, and in real also, like Square is called a son of Knight, right? So we will be beginning our session with the first person called Knight's Tale, right? So Knight's Tale, he starts with the tale with the 2 characters. Who are these 2 characters? Arcite and Palamon, right? So Arcite and Palamon, if you are able to see the picture here, I have made heart symbol and I have made this dotted line here in this V shape, which means they both love Emily. Who are these person? Arcite and Palamon. These are the 2 person, they fall in love with Emily, and Emily is a niece to a king, called Theseus. I may write it here. Right, so Theseus is the king of Athens, right? Theseus is the king of Athens, and he is a person who announces that I am going to create a contest between you two, like whoever is going to win the hand of Emily, my niece. So there they are having a duel, and in this duel, to stop them for the fighting, this King Theseus, starts a contest between them and telling them that I'll be giving my Emily's hand to the person who is going to win this war. So our side invokes Lord of War. Who is the Lord of War in Greek literature? Mars. Lord Mars. He invokes Lord Mars to win the contest to get the hand of Emily. And what does Palamon do? Palamon invokes Lord of Love. Who is Lord of Love? Lord of Love is Venus here, right? So he invokes Lord of Love. So in the end of the story, Arcite wins the war, but he dies when he was stepping out from the horse, because they were fighting on a horse. So when he steps out from the horse saddle, there he dies by falling down on the ground. And who wins at last the hand of Emily? Our hero Palamon. Palamon wins the race also, wins the war also, and wins the hand also. So he's the winner in love life, right? So this is the whole story about Knight's Tale. So the second tale is about Miller's Tale. He says there's a story of a carpenter. So he is in a way kind of mocking the carpenter here. So in return of insulting thing, that carpenter draws a story in his mind and tells about the miller. So they take a revenge here, right? So the revenge starts from whom? The miller, right? So the Miller's Tale is here about old John and Nicholas. So old John is a carpenter here, and Nicholas is a clerk, right? So old John, I should write it here. Old John is a carpenter, right? So old John has a wife called Ellison, right? And Nicholas loves Ellison, not in a platonic way, but in another way. Like he just want to get intimate with Ellison, right? And apart from Nicholas, there is one more character called Epsilon. Epsilon, who is Epsilon? Epsilon is a young parish. So he also wants to get intimate with his wife called Ellison. So they both are behind Ellison. Ellison's original husband is old John, and Nicholas and Epsilon, they are behind the love of Ellison, right? So this is the whole story about. I'm not going to the minor details of it, because they won't be useful for the exam point of view, right? So these are the major outline of the story. You just need to keep these things in your mind. So after completing the stories, we'll keep the countenance, we'll keep the appearance, we'll keep the characteristics of each single pilgrim, right? And after this Miller's Tale, we have Reeves' Tale. Who is a Reeve? Reeve is a person who is taking revenge to Miller here, right? Because he gets offended. Oh, how does you tell a tale related to a carpenter? It is like mocking to me. It is like insulting to me, right? So Reeves tell a tale about Miller. So Miller has a daughter and Miller has a wife here, right? So Ellen and John, these are the two persons, just like Nicholas and Nicholas and Epsilon. There we have Ellen and John. They are behind the daughter and wife of Millers, right? So what do they tell to the Miller? That soon you're going to have a Noah's Ark, Noah's flood here. So you have to save us. You have to create 3 tubs on the roof of your house, and then you have to save yourself, then you have to save your daughter, then you have to save your wife also. So he gets be fooled by this person, and in lieu of that they take benefit. Like Ellen, he goes to the daughter and gets intimate with her, and John goes to the wife and gets intimate with Miller. So this is the whole story about the major details about this, because Reeve wanted to take the revenge from Miller. That is why he used a major character Miller here to take back the revenge, to take back the insulting thing, right? Further we have the 4th story, Cook's Tale, right? So Cook told us about a tale called Perkin's story. Perkin is the name here. Perkin is the name of cook here, right? So he loses his job due to some problem in the town, and there he goes to he searches for the job and gets rejected, and then he tries to take help from his friend, and he shifted to the house of his friend, and there the friend's wife is a prostitute and they live together. This is the whole story about, like, he goes to a friend's house and his wife is a prostitute. That is the sum up of this story, right? So Cook's Tale has a major character called Perkin here. You just need to remember the name of cook here. Perkin is a cook here and he has a name, this is the name itself, right? And further we have the fifth tale, Sergeant at Law. Basically, a sergeant is a person who talks about law and who talks about the legal things, right? So sergeant here, he tells a story about justice. Like, if a question comes in your exam, like which is the tale related to justice and equality in the whole story, then here we have sergeant's name, right? So the sergeant's tale is about Constance and Sultan. Sultan is the first husband of Constance. Constance is a lady who is a Christian person, and she gets convinced her husband called Sultan to adopt Christianity, right? So यहाँ पे आपके क्या होता है कि जो इसका first husband होता है सुल्तान and second husband होता है King Allah, right? So what does the story is about? What is the story about? We have a cruel and brutal mother-in-law who takes a revenge. Oh, how can you make my son adapt the other religion? How can you make my son adapt the other thing called Christianity, being a Muslim person, right? So she takes a revenge. She's a very, very cruel person, and she kills her son, and she sends her widowed daughter on a boat and sends with her child also along with her to Northumberland. The place is not important, but I can mention it here. Northumberland. Northumberland, right? So she sends the child and the mother on a boat to Northumberland, right? And there she does a household thing. She become a governor to a person, and she lives there, and again some evil person attacks her, sent by Satan. Do you remember Satan from Paradise Lost, right? So Satan sends a person called Night to show his cruelty to the person called Constance, and Constance doesn't get convinced by the love of नाइट, राइट. सो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जो सेकंड हस्बैंड जो इसका होता है किंग अल्लाह, यहाँ पे इसके यहाँ पे ये जॉब करती है, एंड फर्दर अल्लाह हेल्प्स हर in providing fortune and providing money and wealth, and there they get married, right? So the second husband is King Allah, right? फिर से सेम स्टोरी होती है रिपीट कि यहाँ पे जो इनकी मदर इन लॉ होती है वो फिर से इन्हें बोट में बिठाकर कहीं भेज देती है अपने हस्बैंड से दूर, यानी अपने बेटे से दूर. उसकी वाइफ को यानी कॉन्स्टेंस को फिर से अपने सेकंड हस्बैंड से अलग होना पड़ता है. शी टेक्स अ बोट विद अलॉन्ग विद हर चाइल्ड एंड गोज़ टू अनदर town and live there and earns a livelihood over there, right? But क्या होता है स्टोरी में ट्विस्ट आता है कि किंग अल्लाह को पता चलता है कि सेटन ने जो नाइट भेजा है वो कितना बुरा है, वो क्या क्या क्रूएलिटीज़ दिखा रहा है, एंड हाउ इविल इज़ हिज ओन मदर. सो ये सारी चीज़ें पता चलने के बाद ये अपनी वाइफ को वापस बुला लेता है, उसे एक्सेप्ट करता है, एंड द स्टोरी एंड्स हियर, राइट. तो अभी तक हमने ये जो पढ़ा है द होल स्टोरी इज़ अबाउट कि एक जो स्टोरी है यहाँ पे इनकम्प्लीट स्टोरी है वो है कुक की, राइट. सो कुक्स टेल इज़ इनकम्प्लीट हियर, यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दिस. फर्स्ट टेल किसकी होती है? नाइट की, राइट. सो द नाइट टेल इज़ द फर्स्ट टेल हियर एंड द इनकम्प्लीट टेल इज़ ऑफ cook here, right? So we'll revise the all over thing again. Harry Belly is the name of the host. They both go to a journey. They go to a journey to a place called Thomas Beckett's shrine in Canterbury. Canterbury is a place, and there we have a shrine called Thomas Beckett Shrine. Along with 29 pilgrims, they proceed further, and Knight is the first person who proceeds with the story, and 23 tales are the total tales, plus one tale told by Chaucer. If you include the another tale also, which is by our poet himself, which is by our author himself, so that is our one another tale. Apart from that, you just need to remember there are 23 tales altogether, right? So this is it. Cokes and squares are the incomplete tale which you need to remember. And in this session, this is all about the important things. And in another video, we'll cover from the वाइफ ऑफ बाथ, राइट. सो वाइफ ऑफ बाथ से लेकर 5 जो और टेल्स हैं वो हम उसमें कवर करेंगे. यहाँ तक के लिए ये सारी चीज़ें आप याद रखिएगा. अच्छा, यहाँ पे मैंने जहाँ जहाँ ये हार्ट सिंबल बनाया है, दैट इज़ जस्ट बिकॉज टू मेक यू रिमेंबर दैट दे आर हैविंग अ लवली पेयर, लवली अफेयर इन बिटवीन दैम. जैसे यहाँ पे इन दोनों के साथ एमिली का है, यहाँ पे ओल्ड जॉन, निकोलस एंड एलिसन ऑप्सलॉन, इन तीनों का है, राइट. सो यू नीड टू रिमेंबर दिस. टेक अ हाईलाइटर विद यू, टेक अ underline your notes with green pen, blue pen, or whatever the colorful pens you are using, because they will be very very efficient and beneficial for your preparation. Keep this thing in your mind, because these are the visionary helps to you to your preparation, right? So again, thank you for watching this channel, thank you for watching this video, and keep sharing, keep liking, and keep spreading the goodness with you. Thank you.